The Wembanyama effect's already changing playoff basketball. OKC felt it in Game 1.
Wallace guarding Cassidy. Harper guarded by Lynn Caruso. Wemby beat it inside, threw it down.
41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 blocks, 49 minutes, double overtime. On the road against the defending champs, and San Antonio walked out with a 122-115 win. That's a serious night. That's the kind of box score where you stare at it for a second and go, wait, he played for how long? 49 minutes for a 7'4" player sounds fake, like somebody lost a bet with the medical staff. And still, the biggest story was not only the points, it was the way Oklahoma City had to think about him every single possession. That's the Wembanyama effect. A player drives, sees him near the paint, and the layup disappears before the ball even leaves their hand. A guard gets downhill, feels that shadow, and takes a floater he doesn't really want. A big catches near the rim, turns, and suddenly looks like he remembered he left the oven on. Wemby changes decisions before the stat sheet even wakes up. But before we start, if you love basketball and you're one of the 90% who watch without subscribing, it's time to join the NBA Inside family. Now, Game 1 against OKC gave everybody the cleanest version of this problem. The Thunder are built to make teams panic. They pressure the ball, they force turnovers, they run off mistakes. They attack with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They throw Jalen Williams into seams. They use Alex Caruso like a basketball mosquito just buzzing around, ruining your night somehow everywhere at once. Usually teams start rushing. San Antonio had those moments too. Bad passes, late reads, possessions where the ball looked like it wanted no part of the Spurs offense. Wemby gave him a place to breathe. Throw it high. Let him catch, let him survey, let him shoot over the top, let him draw two bodies and make the next pass. That matters because OKC does not let teams get comfortable. The Thunder want every possession to feel crowded. They want the ball handler rushed. They want the second pass late. Wemby slows that panic down because his release point is absurd. You can pressure the pass, you can buzzer the guard, then the ball goes to a guy whose arms look like they were measured in a different sport. Good luck. The defense is where the whole thing gets nastier. Wemby does not need to block 10 shots to control a game. People get too obsessed with a block number. I get it. Blocks are fun. Everybody loves the big volleyball spike into the third row. Makes the crowd lose its mind. Makes the guy who got blocked start questioning every decision since middle school. Wemby's real damage happens in the almost shot, the never mind possession. A player catches, sees him, and passes. A player drives, sees him, and dribbles back out. A player gets a clean lane, then rushes the finish because he knows the window's about to close. That's defense without touching the ball.
For Victor Wembanyama. 7th assist for De'Aaron Fox. Wembanyama almost caught that in the air.
That's where he starts messing with people. And you know, this has been happening all season. Guys aren't only missing shots around them, they're taking different shots. Fewer easy ones, more floaters, more awkward pull-ups, more rushed kickouts, more possessions where a good scorer turns into a tax accountant, doing math in his head while Wemby stands there with those Inspector Gadget arms. That wears on a team. It changes the rhythm. It changes confidence. It changes who's willing to attack. You can see it with dominant players too. The first drive looks normal. The second drive gets a little wider. The third time, they settle. Nobody wants to say it out loud because these guys are pros, and ego's part of the job. But Wemby makes people negotiate with themselves. Do I really want to try this? That question's already a win for San Antonio.
It's after this game finishes to find out.
I'll raise a glass to Mitch.
Oh, Wembanyama, 5 blocks.
There are individual clips that explain it better than any spreadsheet. Wemby swatting away shots like he's flicking crumbs off a table. Wemby meeting Kevin Durant near the rim and barely looking like he had to load up. Durant's one of the cleanest scorers ever, and even there, Wemby's length makes a normal contest look fair. And there's that clip where he didn't even really jump. A player goes up. Wemby reaches. Shot gone. I'm sorry, what are we doing here? That's not normal rim protection. That's someone changing the rules of vertical space. Most shot blockers have to choose. Jump early and risk the fake. Stay down and give up the look. Rotate too hard and leave the dump off. Wemby gets to cheat that decision tree because his standing reach already covers areas that other players only touch at full extension. That's why offenses get weird around him. They start avoiding the rim too early. They start driving with no plan. They start making passes that feel safe, then realize his arms are already in the lane. Against OKC, that matters even more because the Thunder usually win with pressure and speed. They want paint touches. They want drive and kick. They want your defense to collapse so the next shooter gets a clean look. Wemby makes the collapse less necessary. San Antonio's guards can stay attached longer because the backline's ridiculous. Castle can pressure. Harper can fight. Vassell can shade. If somebody gets beat, the possession's still alive because Wemby's waiting. That changes how OKC has to attack. Shea can still get this. Nobody should be silly about that. He's too good, too patient, too sharp with his pace. He'll find pockets. He'll get to the mid-range. He'll make officials make decisions. That's what he does. Wemby makes the kitchen smaller. The little leaner becomes harder. The paint touch gets crowded. The late gazer feels less safe. The defender on Shea can chase from behind because help's not normal help. Help's a 7'4" problem with timing. That's why OKC has to adjust. Driving straight into him all night's a bad idea. That's not bravery. That's volunteering for a highlight you do not want to be in. The Thunder need to move him before they attack. Drag him into actions. Make him defend twice. Use slips. Use ghost screens. Hit the second side faster. Force San Antonio's other defenders to rotate without Wemby cleaning every spill. Make him cover space sideways. Not only vertically. Easy to say, miserable to do. Because moving him doesn't always remove him. That's the annoying part. You think you pulled him out. Then 2 steps later, he's back near the rim, contesting something he should have no business contesting. It feels rude, like the man has a fast pass lane only he knows about. Game 1 showed the offensive side too. Wemby has real gravity now. Not just lob gravity, real defensive panic gravity. When he trails into a 3, the big has to come out. When he rolls, the low man has to tag early. When he seals, the weak side starts cheating. When he catches at the elbow, everybody gets tense because he can see the floor. That gave San Antonio oxygen in Game 1. Dylan Harper had 24 points and hit the go-ahead layup in the second overtime while starting for the injured De'Aaron Fox. That's huge. Young guards usually look smaller in games like this. Harper looked like he belonged. And part of that comfort comes from playing next to a teammate who bends the entire defense without begging for the ball. That's how the effect spreads. Wemby creates the panic. Someone else gets the cleaner lane. Someone else gets the cleaner 3. Someone else gets the second chance because 2 defenders were worried about the giant near the rim. Those 24 rebounds in Game 1 were brutal. Rebounding against him looks exhausting. You box out, you turn, you think you did your job, and then his hand appears over the top like he's reaching for cereal on the highest shelf. Second chances break teams. They also break patience. OKC's used to wearing people down. In Game 1, Wemby flipped some of that pressure back at him. Every missed Spurs shot felt unfinished. Every Thunder drive came with a warning label. Every rotation had to account for a player who can change the possession without even touching the ball. The late deep 3 that helped push the game toward the second overtime made it worse. You spend the night worried about the rim, the glass, the paint, the roll, and then he hits you from outside too. At some point, the scouting report starts looking like a grocery list written during a fever dream. Take away the rim? Fine. He spaces. Take away the 3? Fine. He rolls. Send help? Fine. He passes. Stay home? Fine. He shoots over somebody. OKC has enough talent to respond. This is not some helpless team. They are champions for a reason. They have Shea, Jaden Williams, Caruso, Chet Holmgren, shooters. defenders, and enough nasty competitive habits to punch back in Game 2. But they still have to solve the biggest question in the series. How do you run a normal offense when Wemby makes normal shots feel wrong? That question's bigger than this matchup too. The whole NBA has to deal with it. Teams are gonna start building possessions differently against San Antonio. Fewer lazy rim attempts, more early pull-ups, more spacing bigs, more 5-out groups, more screening actions designed only to remove Wemby 2 steps away from where he wants to be. Roster building changes around players like this. Coaches start asking for more shooting. Guards need better floaters. Wings need quicker decisions. Bigs need to pass, space, or punish switches. Because if your offense depends on getting downhill and finishing oversized, Wemby turns that plan into a bad joke. And he's still learning. That's the part that should bother everybody. He still has strengths to add, still has reads to sharpen, still has timing to clean up. He already changes shot selection, spacing, confidence, and late-game play calls. So what happens when the body catches up even more? What happens when the Spurs trust him with more on-ball reps? What happens when young teammates like Harper and Castle keep growing around him? That's where the league starts getting uncomfortable. Game 1 against OKC was not the finish line for the Wembanyama effect. It was a reminder. A loud one. 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 blocks, double overtime, road win. Defending champs on the other side. Still, the scariest part was the hesitation. The shots OKC didn't take. The drives they second-guessed. The possessions where Wemby's presence made a good offense feel like it needed a new plan. That's what he does. He changes the game before the ball even reaches the rim. And now OKC has to adjust to a player who does not give him a normal adjustment.